Hi, my name is Keisha Ward and this is my Drama 30 presentation. For my presentation, I decided to do an interview on a very close friend of mine. Her name is Isadora Mendez and I met her my freshman year of high school. Isadora was only 11 years old when she immigrated to the U.S. from Mexico, and I decided to share her story because I heard it before and I thought it would be very interesting to tell to other people in the class. The first question I decided to ask Isadora was, how was her experience coming to the U.S. from Mexico? She described her experience as being very scary, given the fact that they attempted to come to the U.S. 3 times, and the first two they were sent back. And when I say they, I mean her family, which included her father, her mother, and her 3 younger siblings. She described her experience with coming to the U.S. with her 3 little siblings as being very scary because the time that they were sent back to Mexico, she thought that they would at some point be split up and she would never see her family again. But fortunately, on their third try, they did succeed and they came to the U.S. safely. And when they reached the U.S., they had help from their other family members who had also immigrated as well. The help that their family members provided them was a place to stay, and they showed their parents ways to make money in the U.S. in order to provide for their children. As soon as their parents were able to make enough money, they moved out of their family member's house and into their own apartment. The second question that I asked Isadora was, how was her schooling? And she described that as first being very hard, but as soon as she knew how to speak English and she understood what her teachers were saying, it became very easy for her. She had a lot of help from her teachers because they seen that she wanted to do better for herself, and they didn't have a problem with teaching her the English language and spending more time with her. And along with her teachers, she also had help from her family members that wanted to see her succeed in life as well. The second question I asked her was, coming into high school, what was the difference that you seen as far as being in middle school? The difference that she's seen was that there were a lot of more people and there were a lot more opportunities to be involved in the school. And she described such things as being sports and clubs and more academic opportunities. And when I first met Isadora was at a basketball tryout, and I could tell that she wasn't that good, but at the same time, she showed a lot of effort as far as doing the drills, and she showed that she wanted to be a part of it. And that was one thing that I caught about her and I actually liked. And the next question I asked her was, as far as the sports, how was it different here than it is in Mexico? And she described it as being very different because in Mexico, they didn't have the same opportunities as we do here in the U.S. as far as playing sports. And that's why she says she took advantage of so many different sports. She tried out for basketball, wrestling, volleyball, and she didn't really like soccer, but she did it anyway just because it was an opportunity for her to just get out there and be involved with other students. The next question I asked her was, now that she's older, what was her process in becoming a legal citizen in the U.S.? She said that she definitely wanted to be a legal citizen, so she was going to do whatever it took. And she said that she's actually has a 2-year visa, which when she applied for it, it gave her a social security number, which gave her the ability to get a job and do such things as like that. So right now she is enrolled in a community college and she wants to be a teacher. So she is in the process of doing that now. And she said after her visa, she wasn't sure what her next step would be, but she was definitely looking into it now. Another question that I asked her was if she was in her parents' situation in coming to in immigrating to the U.S., would she have done the same thing for her kids? And she said that she definitely would have because she understood that her parents did it for the best of them and they wanted a better life for her because they knew that it was no way that she would have been able to succeed if she was to still be in Mexico right now. And the last two questions I asked her was, how does she feel about her siblings growing up in the US? And she says that she's very happy that they finally came here, and that she wants her siblings to succeed as though she feels that she did, because she was the first person in their family to graduate from high school, and now she's in college, and she just feels that she's setting a good example for her siblings, so she doesn't see why they won't be able to do the same thing as her. And the last question I asked her was, what was it that she missed about Mexico? And surprisingly, she said there was nothing that she missed, because she's seen the harsh living that they had to deal with in Mexico, and she didn't want to see that again. And she understands that, yes, the U.S. is not a great city that has no killings and no bad things going on, but at the same time, compared to Mexico and the city that she lived in, it's a whole different situation. And that concluded the questions that I had for Isadora. And I just wanted to say that she is a very great person, and I'm very glad that her family decided to immigrate to the U.S. because it gave her more opportunities than Mexico did. And as far as like the immigration law, I do think that it should be changed, because a lot of people that come here are just here to succeed in life, and they're not here to do like bad things. Like, they want to make a better life for themselves, because of the city that they come from in Mexico is just hard for them to live and to not get influenced by the bad things. I appreciate you guys listening to my interview. Thank you.